You choose familiar over effective. Why people stay with things that do not really work. Many repeat habits, routines, relationships, and thoughts that no longer help. It seems irrational. Why stay stuck when better options exist? Human behavior is driven more by familiarity than logic. The brain prefers what feels known over what might work better. Emotional comfort influences choices more. The brain associates familiarity with safety. Known situations feel safer as the brain knows what to expect. Even frustrating, predictable discomfort can feel less threatening than uncertainty. This often happens unconsciously. The body reacts to uncertainty like danger, even when new options logically make more sense. Why change feels emotionally expensive? Trying new things demands mental energy. The brain learns new patterns. It adjusts expectations, tolerates mistakes, and handles uncertainty. Familiar systems remove some of that effort. How often do people reject better solutions? Not because they're ineffective, but because changing feels uncomfortable temporarily. This happens constantly. Students use methods not helping much because the routine feels comfortable. Active recall or difficult practice questions might work better, but they feel mentally harder and less familiar. So people often stay with what feels easier emotionally, even when it produces weaker results. This pattern is everywhere. Familiar problems can start feeling normal. Someone complains about stress, yet repeats the same behaviors daily. That repetition creates psychological comfort through predictability. Breaking it means entering uncertainty, which creates anxiety. Comfort and effectiveness are not always the same. Something can feel comfortable while producing poor long-term outcomes. Effective changes often feel uncomfortable initially. Exercise feels harder before it feels energizing. Honest self-reflection feels uncomfortable before it creates clarity. That transition period is where many quit. The brain resists uncertainty. It constantly tries predicting what will happen next. Familiarity makes prediction easier. Unknown situations create more mental work. This is why people return to old habits, even after deciding to change. People also choose familiar emotional dynamics repeatedly. Even unhealthy dynamics can feel strangely normal if familiar enough. Effective solutions usually feel harder initially. Better sleep routines feel restrictive at first. Difficult conversations feel stressful before they create healthier relationships. Consistent studying feels harder before results improve. The internet reinforces familiar patterns. Algorithms show content similar to what people already engage with. Why identity makes change harder? If someone sees themselves as not disciplined, improving threatens that identity. The brain protects familiar self-images even when they limit growth. This is why change feels disorienting. Honestly, almost everyone does this. People repeat familiar patterns constantly. That does not make them weak. It makes them human. But recognizing the pattern matters because awareness creates choice. Once someone notices they are choosing familiarity over effectiveness, they can start questioning comfort. Real growth often feels awkward initially because the brain has not adapted to the new pattern yet. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. It's evidence the brain is learning something new. This distinction changes how discomfort feels completely. People choose familiar patterns over effective ones. The brain associates familiarity with safety. Effective change usually requires temporary discomfort and adaptation. Once you understand how strongly familiarity shapes, it becomes easier to see why real growth often feels uncomfortable.